I'll let you know. So go ahead and take your notes. All right, so again, equations that we're doing and problem solving. We wrote down the standard. We wrote down what we're going to learn. Now we're in input. We do have some language of the discipline words today, so please write L/D and draw your gate icon. Language of the discipline. My markers are a little fat today, so my line's kind of put together. Our first word is consecutive integers. Consecutive integers. Language of the discipline word. What does that mean? It really just means integers that differ by 1. Integers that differ by 1. Ms. Graham, what does that mean? I will give you an example. For example, EX right there, give you an example. It's kind of light and you get a darker color. There we go. For example, 50 and 51. Those are both integers. They differ by 1. Simple. Or something like -10, -9, and -8. Those integers are consecutive. They go in order, and they differ only by 1. Simple, right? Pencil up when you have that word all written down. Ms. Graham, you can change your page. All right. Second word, we only have 2. Uniform motion. Now, we always integrate math and science. We've been doing a lot of the physics stuff. We talked a little bit about chemistry and chemical bonds. Uniform motion, scientific term, we're using it for math. Okay? It's an object that moves. An object that moves at a constant speed That's it. An object that moves at a constant speed. Uniform motion. All in one motion, constant speed doesn't stop. You might see the word uniform motion in your word problem. Okay? Alright, so, of course, we always have to write the steps to solve the problem. So I'm going to move this paper. The steps to solve this problem. So go ahead and write steps. Give it a cloud, give it a highlight, give it an underline. Your input is steps to solve the problem. Modeling is I will show you how to do the problem. First step, you're going to decide which unknown variable or unknown quantity the variable will represent. So while you're writing that, you'll look at the word problem. You'll decide, what are they asking me? What am I looking for? Am I looking for miles? Am I looking for seconds? Am I looking for kilometers, right? And you give that a variable. Easy, we know that. Decide which unknown quantity the variable will represent. Okay? Step 2. Express the other unknown quantity. So the other unknown quantity or quantities, blend, have more than one, in terms of that variable. So for example, you might have an unknown quantity And you might have a second unknown quantity, and then you have to put it into an equation. It'll make sense when I give you the example. Express the other unknown quantity or quantities in terms of that variable. So if you're looking for width, you might want to make width your W. Step 3 is simple. Write out the equation. Write that down. Step 3, write out the equation. Write out the equation. Lastly, step 4, solve. Write out the equation, then solve. So we have 4 steps. Find what the unknown is. Figure out how everything else in that problem relates to the unknown. Write an equation, solve it. Okay? All right, we're ready for our model. Come on down, everyone give her model claps. Oh yeah! All right, Megan's gonna model on the count of 3. Everyone's gonna yell modeling. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Modeling! Clap for her. Oh yeah, she's coming down the runway. She's gonna strike a pose. Oh yeah, that's very cute. Modeling. So just like Megan showed us the clothes of the new designer down the runway, I'm going to show you how to solve the problem. Here we go. Modeling, go ahead and put that in your notes. Remember, your notes look like mine because there's a method to my madness, so please write it down the way I write it. Can't always rely on my math videos. What if technology goes down? Now, these are going to get a little lengthy, so I'm going to try my best to write legibly. Number 1, so we're going to be writing some word problems, so be linguistic and bear with me. The length of a rectangle, go ahead and write that. The length of a rectangle. The length of a rectangle is 6 inches more, is 6 inches more. The length of a rectangle is 6 inches more than its width. Than its width. First sentence. We have 3 sentences. The perimeter of the rectangle, write that down. The perimeter of the rectangle is 24 inches. That was our second sentence. Last sentence is going to be your question. What is the length? What is the length of the rectangle? Now, I need to think about this. What does Ms. Graham say to do first? Go back to your steps. Decide which unknown quantity you're going to use for your variable. So what is the question trying to ask me? Well, I'm trying to find the length of the rectangle. Underline, square, highlight, what it's asking you. So you're trying to find the length. Okay, that's step 1, we got that. Express the other unknown quantity or quantities in terms of that variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down what my variables are going to represent. So I already know I'm going to use W as my width. Write that down. We're going to make a little key. W is my width. Now it says that my length is, go back to the question, it says that my length is 6 inches more. More means to add. So my length is going to be 6 inches more than my width. So that's going to be my width plus 6. 6 inches more. That's going to be my width plus 6. Now, the last thing that the problem tells me is the perimeter. The perimeter is 24 inches. The perimeter is 24 inches. So see, word problems aren't scary. You just got to go and dig for the numbers. Okay? So my perimeter, 24 inches, is my perimeter. I made myself a little key so I don't forget. Now, the problem tells me that perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Because I know that from 6th grade. Perimeter is width and width, 2 times the width, 2 times the length. So now I'm going to plug in my answers. I wrote out the equation, now I'm going to solve and plug in my answers. So here we go. Perimeter is 24, so this is 24. Plug that in. Move this paper. Equals 2 times length. Let's look back here. What is length? W plus 6. 2 times the quantity of W plus 6. I just plug that straight in. So again, where did I get that from? So you can see right here, length is W plus 6. I plug that in right there where the length is. Color code to help you. Plus 2 times the width. Well, width is W, so I'm good. Now, do I know how to solve this type of problem? Yes, you have to make sure that you, again, look at that one side, condense it as much as possible. So I'm going to do what? Distribute. So I'm going to distribute 2 in W and 2 in 6. So now I have 24 equals 2 times W, 2W, plus, follow my arrows, 2 times 6, which is 12, plus what I'm left over with on this side, 2W. Oh my goodness gracious, I see like terms. Like terms. I can combine my like terms. We learned that already. So again, this just becomes a problem that you guys know how to do. 2W plus 2W is going to give me 4W plus 12. Now I need to isolate my variable by subtracting by 12 on both sides. Subtract 12 on both sides, draw the line under. Positive 12, negative 12. Bye-bye. They cancel each other out. So on this side, I'm left with 4W. On the other side of my equal sign, 24 minus 12 gives me 12. We're almost there. Last step. Variable still has a number in front of it, so I divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, again, 4 over 4 is 1. Cancel each other out. So I'm left with 12 divided by 4 is 3 equals W, or if you like to write it, W equals 3. I'm not done. My question asked me not what the width was. My question asked me what the length was, remember? This is the part of the problem that we're going to trip up on because you guys are going to get to the end and be like, I'm done. No. Got to go back and look. It asked me for the length. So I got to plug it back in. If my width is 3, what's my equation for my length? The width plus 6. So length equals my width, 3 plus 6. So my width is 3, but my length is 9. And that's your final answer. Your length is 9. Yes?
Yes.
So let's go back and label those steps really quickly, okay? Step 1, I found out my missing variable, which was W. Step 2, I wrote down a quantity. That was right there. Step 3, I wrote an equation right here. And step 4, I solved, which I solved all the way down at the bottom. Once I went back and found out what they were asking me, my length is 9. Label the steps. Now this lesson comes in 2 days. So we're going to do part today with a teeny bit of homework, part tomorrow with a teeny bit of homework. You like that, right? Yes. I know, word problems. They're not scary, you're fine. Okay, let's try número dos. Número dos. This question says you have an isosceles triangle. You have an isosceles triangle. Now think back to 3rd grade. Isosceles, what does that look like? Okay, now you have a base. So I'm going to call my base B. That is my unknown variable. Your side is 2 times the base minus 8 is your side. And your perimeter is 74. Now same thing, look back at the first problem. What do we need to do? Well, an isosceles triangle perimeter, we're adding up all the sides, right? Simple. Okay, so we know that the perimeter is going to equal 2 sides of the triangle, so 2 times the side, plus the base. So if you think about it, let's draw a triangle over here. Okay, you're going to have 2 sides, so 2 times the sides, and you're going to have a base. Okay? So, plug it in. Perimeter is 74. We have 2 times the side. What does the side tell me? The side is 2b minus 8. So that's what I'm going to put in my parentheses. 2b minus 8. Plus the base, which is b. You don't know what the base is yet. Pencil pinata. Oh, good, you were with me. All right, so then to simplify the sides of the equation, I need to distribute. So 74 equals 2 times 2b, 4b. Bring down my minus sign. 2 times 8, 16. Plus b. Brought that down. So I just distributed. Oh, I see like terms. I see a positive 4b and a positive b. Who's that invisible friend? 1. So 74 equals 4b plus 1b is 5b minus 6. Our invisible friend 1 will get us every time. So now add 16 on both sides to isolate the variable. My negative 16, my positive 16 cancel each other out. So I have 74 plus 16, which is 90. I'll do the math for you. Equals 5b. So now we're almost there. Divide by 5 on both sides to isolate the variable. My 5's cancel. I'm left with b on one side of the equal sign. On the other side of the equal sign, I have 90 divided by 5, which is 18. So b equals 18. That question just asked for the base. Therefore, that's the answer. Now you might get a problem that asks you about consecutive integers. If you look back at your language of the discipline word, consecutive means they only differ by 1. Okay? So here's the next one. Número 3. It says the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 147. Question, find the integers. Wait, Ms. Graham, I'm kind of confused. They said there's 3 consecutive integers that equal 147, and to find the integers, how am I supposed to do that? Well, let's decide what our variable's gonna be. I think I want x to represent my first integer. Now, if x is gonna represent my first integer, and it increases by 1, then x plus 1 is going to be my second integer. So x plus 1 equals my second integer. But it told me I need 3 consecutive integers, so I need to do one more. So if x is my first integer and x plus 1 is my next consecutive integer, x plus 2 will be my third integer. So I'm going to think about that logically for a second. Say my integer was 1. What comes after 1 is 2. 1 plus 1, x plus 1 is 2. That makes sense. If 1 was the integer I started with, and 1 is x, my third integer should be 1 plus 2, which is 3. So that makes sense. Okay? Think logically. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into an equation. So I have x, my first integer, plus x plus 1, which is my second integer, plus x plus 2, which is my third integer. And that all should equal what the problem told me, 147. Okay, so again, this is integer number 1, this is integer 2, and this is integer 3. It says the sum, so I'm just adding them all up. Now, I can look at this and say, you know what? I see like terms. I see x, and x, and x. And I know that in front of my invisible x is my friend number 1. So if I have 3 x's, that means I have 3x. Now I also see some like terms. I see number 1, and I see the number 2. Well, 1 plus 2 is 3. Equals 147. So again, I'm just combining like terms. I'm adding them all up. I see x, x, and x. I know there's a 1 in front of all of them. There's 3 of them, 3x. I see 1 and 2. I know 1 plus 2 is 3. Now I can just solve. Remember, this is you finding the first integer. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. My 3, positive 3, and negative 3 cancel. On this side of the equal sign, I'm left with 3x. On the other side, I have 147 minus 3, which is 144. So to get the variable by itself, I need to divide by 3 on both sides. I know that 3 over 3 is 1, so they cancel. And I'm left with x equals 48. I'm done. No. The question asks you for the 3 numbers that are consecutive. So my first number, x, remember x represents my first integer. So my first integer is 48. Now x plus 1 will be my second integer. So what's 48 plus 1? 49. And then my third consecutive integer right here is x plus 2. So 48 plus 2 is 50. Did it work? Yes. 48, 49, and 50 are my 3 consecutive integers that will equal 147. So if I add 48 and add 49 and 50 all together, I should get 147 exactly. Yes? I know it's kind of tedious. I know. All right. One more. One more. Bear with me, children. Half today, half tomorrow. All right, number 4. You might get a problem that looks like this. The sum of 4 consecutive odd integers, 4 consecutive odd integers is 216. So that means I'm going to have 4 numbers that are going to be in order, but they're going to all be odd. So it could be 1, 3, 5, 7. It could be 5, 7, 9, 11, right? They're all going to be odd, but consecutive. Okay, so let's pick a variable. We'll just go with x. So we know that x is going to be my first integer. Now, this is a little different. If it's going to be odd, what's going to be my second integer? It's going to be x plus, what do we think? Think it in your head. It's going to be odd. Do I increase by 1 or do I increase by something different? Raise your hand if you think something different than 1. You're going to increase by a different number. Whisper to the person next to you, what do you think it is? I heard 2. Yeah. Very good. X plus 2 is going to be your second integer. Why 2? Look at the number line. If I'm going to increase in an odd amount, I can't only increase by 1 because that would be an even number. I have to increase by 2. Very good. So x plus 2 will be my second number. Then what's going to be my third number? X plus 4. Very good. But then what's going to be my fourth and final number? X plus 6. Very good. This is going to happen whether they ask for odd or even because you're going to have to go up by 2. In this case, it's not. So now I'm going to find the sum of these 4 things, and the sum of those 4 should equal 216. So here we go. The sum of x plus, so we got the first one, x plus 2 plus, the second one, x plus 4 plus, third one, x plus 6. All should equal 216. So again, you take all of those, put them in a big line, add them up. Okay, I see like terms. Let's count how many x's I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 x's, so I should have 4x plus. Now let's look at my numbers. I have 2, 4, and 6. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. All should equal 216. Hands on your head, you see where I'm going. Okay. Didn't lose anyone. Okay, so now you know how to do this. Subtract 12 on both sides. My positive and negative 12 cancel each other out. I'm left with 4x to the left of my equal sign. On the right of my equal sign, I have 216 minus 12, which gives me 204. Isolate the variable. Divide by 4 on both sides. My 4 over 4 is going to be 1. We're writing this down with me, everybody. X equals 204 divided by 4 is 51. Am I done, guys? No, because I only found the first number. I need 4 of them, right? So 51 is my first number. So 51 plus 2 will give me my second number. What's 51 plus 2? 53. My third number will be 51 plus 4. What is my third number? 55. And my last number will be 57. You guys are geniuses. Absolute geniuses. You can stop recording.